Here we are, door number 3 in the original grief hallway, and probably the most confusing and misunderstood door. The reason I say this is because when Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross did her studies on death and dying, these 5 grief stages are applicable to patients that she studied who were terminally ill and they were dying. We've adopted that to grieving, but she further amended the stages to 7 stages that actually omit this door. But because these 5 are the most widely accepted, I'm going to go through these 5 just so you have this under your belt. And then we'll do another one with the 7 stages that actually tend to service what we talk about, which is the survivors grieving the loss of their loved ones, where this door of bargaining tends to lean towards those who are suffering and dealing with their own death. Door number 3, bargaining. Making our journey through this hallway, first, denial, which comes with anger. And I know anger is its own stage. But denial, we usually are introduced to the feeling, being upset at times with the person who passed away, sometimes at ourselves. And then we move into the actual stages of anger, which usually, I think the person who's most hated on in that stage is God. And then the list goes on. And then for this stage, we move into bargaining. And this stage also has its own set of words. And those words are, what if? In the original studies of this stage, the patient would ask, what if I do this? Could I live one more day? Well, if I do this, can I just have one more? And for those of us who are grieving in this bargaining stage, we don't want to accept that they are gone. And this can be a very dangerous stage because you can choose to say, what if they're not really gone? What if they're asleep? What if they're actually still here? And you can cause yourself to be stuck in a pseudo-reality that is not beneficial for you and can actually become more dangerous to your healing. And that's not what we want. You want to change so many things. Well, what if I don't do this? Or what if I do that? What if I had answered the phone? And you're just going back and forth in your mind about these things that you feel may have changed the outcome. But, oh, my dear friends, it is an unfortunate reality that regardless of whether you had answered the phone, whether you had been there to pick them up, whether you had gotten there sooner, whatever you think, whether you had left them on the machine, at this point, it's not going to change anything. And there is no need to torture yourself with all of that. It's a hard road. I guess the best way to put it is to accept a defeat that you could not save them. You couldn't change the outcome. We are only human. Even Superman had to take off his cape every now and then. You could lose yourself in trying to bargain your way out of this, to bargain your way to a new situation, to change any outcomes. You can't do that to yourself. This is the toughest. This is the Wednesday of the grief hallway. It's the hump, right? Even in the amended stages of the 7, the bargaining stage, which has a different name. It's actually the same feeling, but they've titled it differently. It still deals with our inability to control what has happened. This, my dear friends, death is final. You can't change anything. You can't change anything. And at this stage, a bargaining is almost futile. And the only person that could get hurt in the end is you and those who love you. And that's not what we want. We want you to be able to begin to inhale and exhale in your new normal, to begin to wake up and start moving towards your new future, to the life that you didn't plan, but the life that now is. And as always, doing it at your own pace, surrounded by those who love and support you. If you need to see a doctor, if you need to have clinical support, do that. This is not an easy journey. Oh, but the most rewarding are the hardest. So together, we're going to continue. And next week, we will get to door number 4, which is actually depression. And I'll see you next week.